Good morning. My name is Dalia Shoretz-Nagel, President of Sharsheret's Board of Directors. Welcome to Sharsheret's annual benefit. We are so thankful to each and every one of you for being here today to help acknowledge all of the tremendous work that Sharsheret has been able to accomplish this year. It is thanks to you, our incredible volunteers, and our hardworking and devoted staff that Sharsheret has become the leading cancer-focused Jewish organization in the United States, impacting the lives of more than 67,000 women, families, college students, athletes, healthcare professionals, and community leaders throughout all 50 states. We have many to thank for today's celebration. Our benefit co-chairs, Effie Bernstein, Dr. Tammy Brick, Marcy Capel, Diane Cole, Malky Gartenberg, Stephen Goldman, Sharon Kolb, Steve Mayer, Batya Paul, Stephen Perkel, Hedda Rudolph, Simone and Mark Seymour, and Linda Zucker. We would also like to thank our silent auction co-chairs, Jennifer Aronoff, Shifra Benheim, and Zahava Reinhardt, and this year's journal chairs, Chani Barinholtz and Alyssa Zaga. My colleagues on our board of directors who are here with us today, please stand up as I say your names. Jonathan Blinken, Lisa Farkowitz, Marla Melman, Stacy Smolin-Schwartz, Lauren Weiser, Alyssa Zaga, and Esther Zeidman. And our founding board members, Keith Mendelson, Nikki Sawson, and Naomi Spira. And our medical advisory board members, Dr. Karen Katz, Dr. Gila Leiter, and Dr. Aviva Preminger. I would also like to thank the incredible staff at Sharsheret, and especially Ellen Kleinhaus, whose tireless efforts have made today's event such a great success. And our corporate sponsors, Novartis Oncology, Merck, Valley Health System, Tesaro, and Genentech. And today's incredible honorees. Our benefit honoree, Sarah Rudolph Olshin, the Lisa Altman Volunteer Tribute Award recipient, Rena Cole, and our Young Leadership Award recipients, Alexis Mayer Goldstein and Carly Mayer Fried, and their friends and family who join us from near and far. As we come together today to celebrate Sharsheret, our feelings are bittersweet as some of the women of Sharsheret are not able to be here. I would like to call upon Lauren Weiser and Stacy Smolin-Schwartz to recite a chapter of Tehillim as we pray for a full and speedy recovery for all of the women of Sharsheret who are undergoing surgery and treatment. Please rise and have these women in mind as we recite Psalms chapter 121.
Shir LaMa'alot, Esa Enai El Ha'arim, Me'ayin Yavo Ezri. Ezri Me'im Adonai, Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz. Al Yitain Lamot Raglecha, Al Yanum Shomerecha. Hinei Lo Yanum V'Lo Yishan, Shomer Yisrael. Adonai Shomerecha, Adonai Tzilecha Al Yad Yaminecha. Yomam Hashemesh Lo Yakeka, V'Yareach Balayla. Adonai Yishmorcha Mikol Ra, Yishmor et nafshecha. Adonai Yishmor tzeitecha uvoacha me'ata ve'ad olam.
A song for ascents. I shall raise my eyes to the mountains. From where will my help come? My help is from the Lord, the maker of heaven and earth. He will not allow your foot to falter. Your guardian will not slumber. Behold, the guardian of Israel will neither slumber nor sleep. The Lord is your guardian, the Lord is your shadow, he is by your right hand. By day the sun will not smite you, nor will the moon at night. The Lord will guard you from all evil, he will guard your soul. The Lord shall preserve your going out and your coming in from this time forth and forevermore.
Thank you, Lauren and Stacy. Looking around this room, it's hard to believe that my sister Rochelle started this organization nearly 16 years ago. A close friend of my sister's once described her Can you believe it? I still lose it. As a first responder. When Ruchi was first diagnosed at age 28, her response was to run toward the injured instead of running away. She faced cancer head-on and fought not only for herself, but created an organization that would help others overcome the same challenges. This organization was born out of need, the needs of those women and their families who struggle every day with a difficult and sometimes impossible disease. When she was first diagnosed, my sister struggled with feelings of loneliness. She searched for someone with similar circumstances, young, small children, newly married, and anxious to get back to work. She found Lauren Weiser, and they found strength in their shared experiences. And this is how the peer support program was born, forming confidential links over the phone and through email and text. The program offers invaluable friendship and support, taking into consideration each woman's stage of life, diagnosis, treatment, as well as their connection to Judaism. We now have over 8,000 peer supporters in our network. I watched as my nephews wondered where their mom was when she was at doctor's visits and at the hospital. And inspired by one of our founding board members, Naomi Spira, the Busy Box program was born to help keep children busy with toys instead of worrying about what was happening with their mom. I watched as my sister struggled with keeping up her appearance, hoping to look as normal as possible for her son's school events or when it was time to go back to work. And the Best Face Forward program was born, providing tips for those facing hair loss and other side effects from chemotherapy and radiation. I watched as my sister understood the importance of keeping healthy and the joy that running and biking gave her. And at the urging of Coach Mo Rice, the Race With Us athletic program was born, allowing Sharsheret women and their families and friends to join a Sharsheret team to help battle this disease by getting fit and showing their support. I watched as my sister came to realize very quickly that when facing this disease, knowledge can be very powerful and often comforting. And the Beatrice Milberg Campus Program, Pink Shabbat, and over 250 annual educational programs nationwide were born to help address the important issue of spreading awareness and educating our next generation. My sister's dream was that every Jewish woman and family, major medical center, synagogue, temple, and college campus will benefit from Sharsheret's critical cancer programs. It was her dream, but from the moment she reached out for peer support, she was never alone. These programs were carried by the tens, then hundreds, and now thousands of Sharsheret supporters. Even when her health was declining, my sister was so optimistic about the future of Sharsheret, and she said it was so much bigger than that initial seed she had planted and cultivated, and she knew it would continue to grow because of all of you. Sharsheret has launched Rochelle's Dream, a campaign for our future in memory of my sister. Your gifts toward this fund will help fulfill Rochelle's dream, and with your help, no Jewish woman or family will face breast or ovarian cancer alone. A special thank you to our lead gifts that continue to propel the launch of this critical program. And now, I am proud to introduce a new documentary, Sharsheret, The Chain, 3 Women's Journeys. Some of the women who participated in the filming are here with us today. Please join me in thanking them. I know you will be inspired by them as much as we are.
I think 25 is really one of the most fabulous ages. I had a great job, I had great friends, I felt really on top of the world. Living on my own, doing really well, and something happened.
The doctors always told me that I should get screened early, 10 years earlier than my mother. So when I was 30, I went for my first mammogram.
I've been living with metastatic breast cancer for the last 8 years. When I found out that it was breast cancer, my first thought was, okay, I want to get the biggest surgery. It wasn't even a thought. I'm gonna live.
I was raised by a working mom, a teacher, so I was brought up really never to stop learning, and that knowledge was power. I watched my mother get sick at a very young age. Cancer was ripping through our family, but my great-grandmother and my grandmother beat it, and my mother did not. She was diagnosed at 39 and she died when she was only 44. That's what's so tough about BRCA, because it tears through families.
When I found out I had metastatic cancer, my boys were 9 and 10 years old. Metastatic cancer is a chronic illness that's treatable, not curable. The fears were not being here for things like bar mitzvahs. Who's going to take care of them like I would take care of them? Who's going to know them like I was going to know them?
I was a single woman who hadn't begun living her life, hadn't met the man of my dreams, hadn't had children yet, and I had a lot of living to do.
I didn't know if I was gonna get married, I didn't know if I was gonna have children, I didn't know if I was gonna look okay, I didn't know how awful everything was gonna be.
When I speak to other people, they understand that I have cancer, but because I look good and I am acting healthy, it's hard to understand that there's an illness behind that. Not everybody understands it. Not everybody wants to talk about it.
I had close friends. It didn't even occur to me to call them up. I couldn't say it. How could I possibly explain to them that I was just diagnosed with an illness that I wasn't sure what the outcome was gonna be? It was just an incredibly, incredibly lonely feeling. Like the entire world just stopped.
I thought, well, I've got to get in touch with somebody because I can't do this on my own. I need help. I first found out about Sharsheret by seeing a flyer at my local Jewish community center, and I called them up and they told me all about all the different things that they have about the survivorship kit. They let me know about a group that helps women with metastatic breast cancer, which is what I was looking for.
I wasn't ready. I don't think I was ready to make that phone call. So my mom made the phone call first, and then I got a phone call, and that changed the entire thing. Because all of a sudden, somebody was on the other end of the phone who completely and totally got it.
So to get on the telephone and listen to other voices of people talking about it was amazing. It was a home.
That's what Sharsheret is. It's that person out there who's been through it and is going to tell you everything you need to know.
If I have a thought about something, about financial issues or getting a new wig or getting a new cap or something, I go on the website. I love the fact that I get the emails about people, doing marathons and people, living their lives. It feels that I'm not so alone because there are so many people connected to Sharsheret.
For me specifically, Sharsheret was there at so many different stages of this experience. You could be diagnosed yesterday, you could be diagnosed 5 years ago, but they're always there and they're always available, and it's always appropriate to call.
One in 40 Ashkenazi Jewish men and women will get the BRCA1 or 2 mutation. So it's out here, but we have to keep talking about it so that we continue to do more about it. With BRCA, the trick is knowing when to take action. It's not such an easy thing to do as like pick up the phone and call Cousin Aline and say, hello, did you have your genetic test? I haven't talked to you in 10 years, but you really ought to watch out for that ovarian thing. It's kind of dicey, so some people have issues with that. Sharsheret can kind of smooth that over a little bit.
This organization is at the forefront of the support, of the educational aspect of it, and explaining to the public what they can do to protect themselves and to keep themselves healthy.
It's easier to get the test, it's more affordable, there's more women out there getting the test, but are they getting the counseling they need? Are they asking the right questions? Are they really drawing out that family tree where they know which cousin to call, and the cousin that really doesn't believe in doctors, and the great aunt that doesn't want to get tested? And it helps to have an organization if you'll allow them in and they're there with the information. I caught it 9 years earlier than my mother. I was already that much more proactive than my mother and that much more empowered with information.
I knew that I had my friends in my community for a social reason, and I knew I had Sharsheret for metastatic cancer.
This summer, I was reaching out because my mother was diagnosed with breast cancer. And I went from being a survivor to the daughter of somebody fighting cancer, which rocked my entire world. Without Sharsheret, I would have just been totally alone.
So every time there's been a turn in the road in my life, I've called Sharsheret to say, okay, this is what's happening today.
I think if Sharsheret wasn't around, people would really miss out, They just wouldn't have that network to turn to. They just wouldn't have that voice to kind of advise them along the way and to tell them, you're not alone. You're not alone.
I've lived in 4 or 5 different states at this point, but wherever I am, I know that Sharsheret is there. I can access any program I need from them.
And what I love about Sharsheret, it's the chain, right? So it's women helping women. It's women talking to women.
For a really long time, I would not associate with anything breast cancer related, but I decided one year to walk with Team Sharsheret at the Breast Cancer Walk in Manhattan. And I walked just feeling the incredible love and support.
I'm a 2-time survivor, and I'm not just surviving, I'm thriving. I am a reporter at Channel 7 Eyewitness News, BRCA1 positive, and very positive about my future.
Everything I think you go through in life, as long as you're getting through it, you're surviving. And I do feel that I've been able to thrive through metastatic cancer. I've accomplished a lot. And I don't think I could have done that unless someplace like Sharsheret existed. I know I'm going to fall, but I know I'm going to be raised up.
I'm a mom, and I have so many questions about how to talk to my daughters, and I know that I can call the people at Sharsheret and they will link me up with somebody who I can talk to.
There's a lot of women like me with daughters growing up. When are they going to be tested? What are we going to do with that information? When should they have their first mammogram? If I went for my first mammogram at 30, when's my daughter gonna go? I support Sharsheret because as my children get older, my daughters, I want them to know that there are organizations like that around for them. Sharsheret will be there. Sharsheret will be there to guide them. Sharsheret will be there to give them information. And that's precious and powerful.
Sharsheret is here not just for me. Sharsheret is here for my boys and for my whole family.
People need to support Sharsheret because they are doing incredible work for individuals, for families, for communities.
It's about communicating with people like yourself and feeling that community. Because in that community, that's where the answers are. That's where the support is. That's where the protection for our children and our grandchildren is.
Where my journey goes, so does Sharsheret.
It is now my honor to introduce Alana Silber, the Executive Director of Sharsheret, whose incredible vision and dedication will help shape the growth and future of this organization. Alana?
Thank you, Dahlia, and thank you all for joining us today. Sometimes, when you least expect it, you get a sense of how deeply Sharsheret impacts the community. Several weeks ago, I went to make a Shiva call for a family of 4 sisters whose elderly father had passed away. The sisters, all whom had grown up in Brooklyn, now lived across the country in different states and in Israel. As I walked across the crowded living room, I took a seat in the center of the room, sitting slightly behind others who had entered before me. One of the sisters from Pittsburgh caught my eye and said, "How's Sharsheret doing?" Before I could answer, the other sister from Boca chimed in and said, "Alana, I remember when you came to Boca years ago to introduce Sharsheret, an organization just getting off the ground. Now, Sharsheret is everywhere. As a matter of fact, I'm an ultrasound technician. The doctors in my office are not all Jewish, and we don't serve a very large Jewish population. Yet just the other week, I saw brochures, Sharsheret brochures, on the front desk and asked how did they get here? And the answer was, these are critical resources. Everyone has Sharsheret information in their offices." And then someone to my left said, "Sharsheret? I buy my pies there for Thanksgiving." And then to my right, someone said, "Sharsheret, my friend just called there for support." And then from way back in the room, someone said, "Sharsheret, we do Pink Day in our high school." Suddenly, the Shiva call became a Sharsheret discussion. As I sat there, of course I was thrilled that I didn't have to explain what Sharsheret was. I've been doing that for years. But what touched me, what inspired me, was how they spoke of Sharsheret. They each felt that they were connected to Sharsheret, that Sharsheret is somewhere where they belonged. This is Rochelle's dream, and we are living it. Today, we come together to strengthen the chain. You, everyone in the room today, is a part of Sharsheret, and Sharsheret is a part of you. We are only as strong as our links. With your support, we have grown exponentially, serving more than 67,000, working out of 3 offices, national headquarters here in New Jersey, and regional offices in South Florida and Los Angeles. We have 24 staff members and more than 8,000 women participating in the National Peer Support Network. While there are great strides in medicine, and many women are doing very well, the phones at Sharsheret continue to ring. And it's critical that we remain the safe place for women and families to call at every stage of breast and ovarian cancer. Today, we welcome 31 new jewels to the Sharsheret Jewel Circle. These jewels have been established in the last 12 months. Our jewels are the major gifts that support our $3.1 million budget and enable Sharsheret to take on new initiatives and sustain core programs. And we are proud to recognize them each year at this event. You'll notice some of us, actually many of us now, are wearing Sharsheret necklaces, a gift, a special gift to our jewels as a way for all of us to raise awareness as Sharsheret ambassadors. And now we introduce you to this year's Sharsheret jewels. A founder's jewel gifted anonymously in honor of Bella Chachki Diamond and Sylvia Diamond Geller. A sapphire jewel, gifted by Kira Burnham in honor of Dana Norris. A sapphire jewel, gifted by Dana Norris and Dr. Stanley Frankel and family in memory of Gail Norris. A sapphire jewel, gifted by Layla and Daniel Posner in honor of Sarah Zakheim. A ruby jewel, gifted by Mike Albala in honor of Amy Albala. A ruby jewel, gifted by Marissa Shorenstein in honor of Dana Norris. A ruby jewel, gifted by Serena Amendi Bash in memory of Rochelle Shoretz. A ruby jewel, gifted by the Feller, Gittler, Tenenbaum, Novogradsky, Olshan, Savitsky, Schreier, Blumenfrucht, Stern, Krein, Wiener, and Futersek families in honor of Sarah Rudolph Olshan. A ruby jewel, gifted by Diane and Howard Cole in honor of Rena Cole and all the dedicated Sharsheret volunteers. A ruby jewel, gifted by the Forgash families in honor of Rena Cole. A ruby jewel, gifted by Frankel Benefits in honor of Dana Norris. A ruby jewel, gifted by the Fuchs and Sawson families in memory of Philip Fyvie Fuchs. A ruby jewel, gifted by Gabriella Greif in honor of her aunts, Margot Pulitzer and Sherry Rosenberg. A ruby jewel, gifted by Linda and Mark Grunbaum in honor of their amazing friend, Carol Kiss. A ruby jewel, gifted by the Hertzberg, Klatt, Noller, Levine, Rockland, Rudolph, Seymour, Sugarman, and Wiseman families in honor of Sarah Rudolph Olshan and in memory of Shane D. Rudolph. A ruby jewel, gifted by Ari Hurt and family in memory of Marcia Hurt.
A ruby jewel, gifted by Dr. Jessica and Lizer Kornwasser in honor of Claire Mouchel and in memory of Nettie Walgus, Gusta Schmaya, and Sonia Kornwasser. A ruby jewel, gifted by Nava and Jeffrey Parker and family in honor of their mother, grandmother, and great-grandmother, Hannah Goldberg. A ruby jewel, gifted by Preminger Plastic Surgery in honor of their patients who have fought breast cancer. A ruby jewel, gifted by Stacy and Stephen Rausch in honor of Dana Norris. A ruby jewel, gifted by Alana and Mark Rothenberg in memory of Azriel Feiner. A ruby jewel, gifted by Elle Shanzer in memory of her grandmother, Ellen Bernstein Shanzer. A ruby jewel, gifted by Michael Shappett in honor of his wife, Shay Zuckerman Shappett, and in memory of his mother, Debbie Shappett. A ruby jewel, gifted by Alana and Jonathan Silber in honor of Lillian Brickman becoming a great-great-grandmother. A ruby jewel, gifted by Robin and Warren Struhl in memory of Lauren Miller. A ruby jewel, gifted by Risa and Michael Zimmerman in honor of Simone and Rabbi Josh Brody. Please join me in thanking to the 59 generous supporters who have renewed their jewels this year. A complete list of our incredibly generous supporters can be found in your program. Now, please enjoy your lunch. Our silent auction is now reopened and will close at 12:20 p.m. First, a little housekeeping. The auction is now closed. The winners' names will be posted outside the ballroom after the completion of today's program. Thank you to all of the auction donors listed in your program for their generous gifts. We will put the name of our Peloton bike raffle winner after the conclusion of the program. We will pull the name. Since 2005, we have been privileged at this event to recognize the contributions of men and women who have given their time in support of Sharsheret. Many of those honorees are here with us today, and I'd like to thank them for joining us year after year as they continue to serve as Sharsheret ambassadors. This year, they also help us welcome our honorees Sarah Rudolph Olshan, Rena Cole, Alexis Mayer Goldstein, and Carly Mayer Fried. Inspired by Sharsheret's mission and their mom, Toby Mayer, Alaha Shalom, Alexis and Carly introduced Sharsheret Pink Shabbat to University of Pennsylvania when they were students. Today, Sharsheret Pink Shabbat continues to be one of the most well-attended and valued programs on campus. It is through their efforts and dedication that we reach out and educate the next generation. Please join me in welcoming our Young Leadership Award recipients, Sisters Alexis Mayer Goldstein and Carly Mayer Fried.
Good afternoon. We are standing here with you this morning celebrating the work and women of Sharsheret thanks to our mom, Toby Mayer, Aleha Hashalom. When she was first diagnosed with early-stage breast cancer, she was devastated. But this wasn't the first time our mom faced serious illness, having recovered from an acoustic tumor in 2001. Determined to take control of her illness, she had a double mastectomy. It was then that our mom was first introduced to Sharsheret and its LINK program, which connected her to women who had traveled on a similar road. She found community in Sharsheret's peer support network, initially seeking companionship and ultimately providing guidance and humor to fellow women battling breast cancer. The cancer returned with a vengeance in 2006, this time as stage 4 metastatic breast cancer. First stop, Sharsheret. This time, she found Shira, the Director of Navigation and Support Services, and the Embrace program, Sharsheret's counseling program for women living with advanced breast cancer. Living with advanced stage cancer, life had become option B. The ideal life, or option A, was no longer possible, and so it was time to make the most of the alternative. Throughout living option B, our mom believed that God only gives us challenges that we are equipped to handle. The mess comes along with a toolkit, even if there's not a clear manual. Her mantra in living with metastatic cancer became, "The glass is half full." Morning treatment at the Cancer Institute? Well, that's an opportunity for a Dunkin' iced coffee and muffin to go along, with time in the afternoon for a few hours at the beach. While living with cancer, our mom supported other women with a similar diagnosis and worked to give our family as normal a life as possible. She knew that, despite the best of intentions, friends are at a loss of what to say or do, failing to acknowledge the elephant in the room. In Sharsheret's 2009 newsletter, they featured our mom's letter to her friends, explaining how she planned to live life as option B, and providing guidance about how to be compassionate, helpful friends. Facebook's COO, Sheryl Sandberg's new book, Option B, echoes the same sentiments written in that letter. Rather than offer to do something, it is often better to do anything. Just do something specific. Meaning, instead of asking if you need a supermarket run, the better question is, I'm heading to the supermarket. What % milk do your kids drink? Acknowledge and act without placing the burden on the suffering individual. This was the advice that our mom imparted to her own friends and to fellow breast cancer warriors, advice that we often turn to when supporting other young adults who have lost a parent. During the last 2 months of her life, our family designed and wore pink rubber bracelets with "The glass is half full" imprinted, to act as a constant reminder of the way in which we should live our lives. There are always multiple perspectives from which to approach a situation or circumstance. Our moms steered our family to view things on the brighter side.
After her passing in 2011, we worked to maintain the bright side mentality in our new option B, or some might call it option C. In coping and adjusting to the new reality, we wanted to continue the chain of support that our mom had participated in through Sharsheret. We did so through our peers at the University of Pennsylvania, founding what has become Penn's annual Sharsheret Pink Shabbat. Each year, the weekend kicks off with a Thursday night challah bake, making and selling nearly 200 challahs, with all proceeds benefiting Sharsheret. The weekend continues with a pink-themed Friday night dinner at Hillel, packed with 300 students in pink attire, followed by a dessert program and reception. The reception is about awareness and connection, educating students about breast cancer in the Jewish Ashkenazi community and the resources Sharsheret provides to women and their families facing breast and ovarian cancer. The program provides an opportunity for students to share personal stories, artwork, and poetry about experiencing suffering. On Saturday night, Pink Shabbat culminates with Cake Wars, a high-energy cake decorating competition that leaves students feeling invigorated and educated. Sharsheret Pink Shabbat charges students with a desire to further educate themselves and support their friends in times of hardship, recognizing just how important it is to feel linked to a support community, especially in times of need. This means any type of community, a local synagogue, an exercise class, work colleagues. Penn's Sharsheret Pink Shabbat created the concept of being pinked in, so as to be linked in to each other as a community and support system for those who we know and for those who we don't know are suffering. We received an email from a female alumna who shared that when her doctor found a sizable tumor in her breast, Sharsheret was the first place she turned to for information. She wrote, quote, "When my mom initially asked me how I heard about Sharsheret, I said I didn't know, but I realize now it was from Sharsheret Pink Shabbat last March. That was the first time I heard the name of the organization, and that's what made me think of it as a resource when I needed it. So I just wanted to say thank you so much," end quote. Campus outreach has the power to affect the lives of students and their families, reaching people in communities that have yet to hear about Sharsheret. Because of the support this student received from Sharsheret, she never felt alone. She felt connected, supported, and linked in. Sharsheret, Hebrew for chain, does just that. It creates the framework of links to support women facing cancer. We are so grateful to Sharsheret for the support that it has given our family. Thank you to Shara for introducing our family to Sharsheret in the first place, and to the rest of Sharsheret's leadership, Alana, Ellen, and Neela, as well as your whole team, for making today and every day a good day for Sharsheret. You continue to embody and expand Rochelle's vision of a Jewish support network for women battling breast and ovarian cancer. Mazel tov to Sarah Rudolph Olshin and Rena Cole on this beautiful honor, and thank you for your public relations and investment volunteer work for Sharsheret. Thank you to our benefit co-chairs, our dads Steve Mayer, Sharon Kolb, and Stephen Goldman. Thank you to our family and friends who are always so supportive of us, especially in being here today. Thanks to our dad and brother Jared for spending Sharsheret Pink Shabbat with us at Penn each year, and for being a source of support in our collective journey. And special thanks to our husbands, Morty and Noach, for being so enthusiastic about our involvement with Sharsheret and being our partners in life's adventures. Life is never perfect. We are all handed hardships and live some form of option B. Some of those challenges we see coming, and others take us by surprise. So what do we do when these things happen? What's next? We learned from our mom's example that no matter how sour the lemons are, squeeze them until you get some delicious lemonade, and make sure to squeeze until the glass is half full.
Carly and Alexis, please accept this gift as a token of our appreciation for all that you do for Sharsheret.
Each year, Sharsheret is privileged to recognizing outstanding volunteer contributions with the presentation of the Lisa Altman Volunteer Tribute Award. Lisa was a Sharsheret volunteer whose sterling qualities were evident in the last gift she gave to all of us, this wonderful event that she envisioned as a way to thank her mother, her sister, and her friends for all that they had done for her during her illness. Please join me in welcoming a close friend and confidant of our dear founder, Rochelle, and a woman who exemplifies professionalism and positivity in all aspects of her life, as she volunteers her time and lends her expertise to ensure the financial sustainability of the organization for the future. Our Lisa Altman Volunteer Award recipient, Rena Cole.
Good morning, good afternoon. Thank you all for being here, especially my family and friends who traveled from near and not so near to get here, especially my sister and niece who came all the way from Florida. It would not be the same without you here. I want to start by wishing Sarah Olshin a huge mazel tov on this well-deserved honor. It means so much to me to share this special day with you. Some of you may know that Sarah and I were roommates in college for a few years, and then we were almost neighbors when I lived in Teaneck. I think we both had the same reaction when we found out that the other was asked to accept these honors. It made it all bashert, and it was meant to be. And to Alexis and Carly, I can only imagine how proud you make your families every day by the work that you do for Sharsheret. Mazal tov to you both. The Lisa Altman Volunteer Award means all that much more to me because I knew Lisa. We went to school and to camp together and had many mutual friends growing up. I always knew Lisa to be fun, warm, generous, and giving with everyone around her, especially with her family, as her mother, Idella, who is here today, knows better than anyone else. Lisa was someone who went out of her way to be kind and to help others. It is a testament to her to see how many of her lifelong friends and her family support Sharsheret and make it their priority to attend this benefit in her memory each year. So how did I come to Sharsheret? Like many of you, each year I came to this luncheon, bid on great auction items, caught up with some old friends, and then sat down to listen to the speakers and watch their incredible videos. And every year I sat in this room crying, and I've told you need to start putting tissues on the tables. So moved by everything that I have heard, realizing that anyone's life could change in one doctor's visit, and there was no reason to think that it could never happen to me. Every woman in this room has thought that at one point or another. And every year when the benefit was over, as I drove away, I said to myself that I wanted and I needed to be more involved with this organization. The incredibly important work that Sharsheret does, the life-altering services that they provide, not only to the women diagnosed, but to their families as well, is truly inspirational, and I wanted to be a part of it. But life got in the way, as it usually does, and in time, all those good intentions faded, until the next annual benefit, when I went through it all over again. That is, until I met Ruchi Shoretz. We had lunch together at a mutual friend's house one weekend in Teaneck, and we hit it off. We got in touch soon after in the city to have lunch one day, and talks soon turned to how I could get more involved with Sharsheret, and as anyone who knew Ruchi knows, that was it. Once you got sucked into her orbit, there was no getting out of it, and you didn't want to. Ruchi was able to literally build something from nothing. Her single-minded focus, her incredible intelligence and wit, and no-nonsense way of functioning, her magnetism was awe-inspiring. Being around her made me want to do more. So I did. And that's when I started volunteering for Sharsheret and making this a priority in my life. So that's why I'm here today, to hopefully spark something in some of you to stay involved, get more involved, and make supporting Sharsheret a given in your lives. Run the marathon as part of Team Sharsheret. I say I'm going to do it every year. I haven't, maybe one year. Join a breast cancer walk in the fall. Buy some pies before Thanksgiving. They are delicious, and it's one less thing you have to cook. Take part in a pink challah bake. Encourage your bar and bat mitzvah-aged children to raise awareness and raise funds for Sharsheret as part of their B'nai Mitzvah projects. Have your daughters and sons attend a Pink Shabbat at their colleges. Become part of the Young Professional Circle. There are important and fun events in cities and college campuses around the country all year long. You can even start volunteering today. Help Sharsheret contact and connect more with the medical community. Fill out the cards on your tables with your name and the names of your doctors, your gynecologists, radiologists, breast surgeons, social workers, and nurses. Someone from Sharsheret's outreach team will contact you as to how to make those introductions. We have heard over and over again that if a woman's medical team recommends Sharsheret to their patients, they will call Sharsheret and in turn hopefully benefit from our services. And Sharsheret does not just help those who have already been diagnosed with breast or ovarian cancer. The goal is to empower women, to ask the right questions, to educate our next generation. Testing for the BRCA gene, holding Have the Talk events on college campuses, and all the other events I mentioned, and there are so many more, these are all ways that Sharsheret reaches out to our friends, our sisters, our daughters, and our granddaughters. And that is why I've gotten involved. My husband Effie and I strive to teach our children by example that tzedakah and community involvement need to be a core part of our lives. This is something that we learned from watching our own parents, and we know that Stephen and Tamar and Ethan will continue this tradition. Working with Ilana and her staff and seeing firsthand their professionalism, their commitment and innovative programming, and their tireless devotion to you all is what motivates me. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a small part of the Sharsheret family.
Rena, on behalf of the Sharsheret, we'd like to give you this gift as a token of our appreciation for all your contributions to the organization. Mazal tov.
That's okay.
Made it fun. Thank you, Rena. Sarah Rudolph Olshan has been part of Sharsheret from the very beginning. 16 years ago, when our founder, Rochelle, coordinated the first Sharsheret meeting, Sarah was at that dining room table alongside a handful of other women. Rochelle led the meeting armed with an agenda, a clear plan of action, and a vision for the future. At that point, Sarah understood that Rochelle meant business. Sharsheret was not going to be just another nonprofit. This was a professional national organization that was going to make a difference in the Jewish community and beyond. Since that day, Sarah has stayed intrinsically involved, sharing her wisdom and advice for the organization, while at the same time creating and living her own personal and intimate Sharsheret story. Please join me in welcoming our benefit honoree, Sarah Rudolph Olshan.
My heartfelt appreciation to all of you joining us this morning and supporting Sharsheret. I believe there are no coincidences and that God situates us in a particular time and place. I was there in 2001 when Michelle Shoretz of blessed memory launched her idea of Sharsheret and immediately signed on as a volunteer. I did not realize at the time what a profound impact the organization would have on my life. In 2002, my sister Shandy Rudolph of blessed memory was diagnosed with late-stage breast cancer. As a family, we did our best to be there for her, but our love and support could not always give her the confidence and strength she needed. Once Shandy was introduced to and connected with her Sharsheret link, another young woman with similar struggles, her whole demeanor changed. She was more hopeful and even more determined to beat the diagnosis and live her life to the fullest. I went from being a Sharsheret volunteer to a Sharsheret sibling to eventually becoming a beneficiary of Sharsheret. In 2004, I sought out Sharsheret's assistance after receiving a diagnosis of early-stage breast cancer. Once I told my family, my next call was to Sharsheret. I was married with then 2 young children. I was worried about them and had to make difficult medical decisions for myself. I was overwhelmed. Sometimes I was able to express what I needed from Sharsheret, and other times they anticipated my needs, sending me a busy box for my kids, Best Face Forward, a kit that addresses cosmetic side effects, and a list of pertinent questions to ask my doctors. I spoke to many links, and with the help of my devoted family, friends, and medical team, I got through it. And this is where most stories end. Humpty Dumpty was put back together again, and they lived happily ever after. Well, as anyone here who has had a personal encounter with cancer knows, it doesn't quite end that way. Once you've crossed the finish line of treatment, a new marathon begins, one with a lot less attention from friends and family and considerably less attention from your medical team. This chapter can be a lonely one, and it's called survivorship. When your treatments are over and you start to regain your hair and your strength, you desperately want to resume your life, pick up where you had pushed the hold button. Everyone around you is so happy it's over and is eager to move on. It's not that simple for you. You now live with the cloud of cancer over your head. You have to learn how to live from scan to scan with the anxiety of recurrence. Planning occasions or trips becomes stressful. Can I be at my nephew's bar mitzvah in 6 months? Will I be okay? I am here to tell you that Sharsheret gets it. Sharsheret sent me materials once again about life after treatment, even before I knew I needed them. In this packet, my feelings were validated. I spoke to links who had similar issues. I still participate in webinars about health and nutrition and news of what's on the medical horizon. Each of us has to learn how to navigate our fears and live. It's nice to know you don't have to do that alone. I share this honor with my husband Ira and children Rachel and Mayor, who have always supported me and my involvement in Sharsheret. Thank you to my mother and my in-laws, our siblings, nieces and nephews, and larger family, and our amazing community in Teaneck. Mazel tov to Rena Cole, my friend, who was there for me. I remember those lunches and movie dates, and is there for all the women of Sharsheret. And to the young leadership recipients, Alexis Mayer Goldstein and Carly Mayer Fried, thank you for your dedicated efforts to raise awareness among college students about breast health and genetics. This organization would not be here without the brilliance, vision, and charisma of the indefatigable Rochelle Shoritz of blessed memory. Alana, you had some very high heels to fill, and you have done an incredible job as the organization is growing and is stronger than ever. Ellen Kleinhaus and Shara Dubitsky and the entire staff at Sharsheret, thank you for the way you do what you do, with care and sensitivity, giving particular attention to each email and caller. Dahlia Nagel and the Sharsheret board, thank you for never settling and always looking for ways to improve and build. Thank you all for making sure no woman is alone with the weight of cancer.
Sarah. On behalf of Sharsheret, please accept this gift as a token of appreciation for your contributions to Sharsheret. Mazal tov. Thank you. And now I would like to call upon Benefit Chair Batya Paul to draw the Peloton bike winning raffle ticket. Batya? Where's up? Here she comes.
Thank you all for joining us today. With all of your support, we are able to continue all of our important work to benefit all the women and men of Sharsheret. The auction winners are listed outside on the boards. Please feel free to purchase your auction winnings as soon as I finish pulling the ticket. And now for the moment you've all been waiting for. The winner of the Peloton bike is Lauren Klein. Thank you all, and we look forward to seeing you all again next year.